One of the hardest parts about deconstruction, at least for me at the beginning, was the loss of certainty. And I don't just mean losing certainty itself. I mean like the grief, the grieving the loss of certainty. I was not prepared for that. And I didn't feel like most folks around me understood what I was going through either. Being a pastor, a youth pastor, in the world I was in, we talked like we knew everything. I would be surprised if it wasn't weekly that we had stated with high conviction that we had the answers that mattered. Everybody else, well, they're the ones who are lost, right? So when I started having questions and I started having doubts around things that I was relatively certain about before, it was so destabilizing. Now, if this is something you're going through, what I'm going to say next may or may not be true for you. But looking back, I can say it was true for me. Part of what was so destabilizing for me in losing this sense of certainty over a number of areas I was now analyzing with greater scrutiny was that I felt like I was losing some of what made me feel special. You know, we're unique and we're chosen and we're the special knowledge holders, right? We're the ones with the right answers. We have the things that other people need. And like need badly. And I didn't think of it as losing this presumed superiority at the time, but I really think that's what was going on for me. I think that's the case for a lot of us. Losing certainty makes us scared that we aren't better than other folks. It makes us scared that maybe we're on the same level with the rest of humanity, with all of these other people who are just trying to figure out how to live. You know? There was also this sense of comfort and control. You know, thinking that I knew how the universe works, how people work, how God works, made me feel more in control of the world, of my life and of my relationships than I actually was. And it gave me this convenient out when things didn't line up. I could always pull from this other pool of answers that comforted me and made me feel like maybe I'm not the problem, but this other person's the problem. And I have to say that while it has been destabilizing, losing that sense of certainty ultimately has caused me to be a lot more stable than I was with that presumed certainty. I see that I'm not better than everyone else around me. I have answers for things, sure, but I'm aware that I could be wrong. And that's okay. I've made peace with that. I also have come to realize that there's a lot more important things than being certain about everything than being the know-it-all who has all of the answers. You know, there's love. There's caring for other people. There's showing up, doing the hard work of relationship. And there's also all of the other many splendid, mundane blessings that we get to experience. I devoured the book of Ecclesiastes during my deconstruction several times. It's my favorite Hebrew Bible book. And a lot of it is filled with this gentleman who is also wrestling with the same things that so many of us wrestle with. The things that he seemed to presume a type of certainty about and realizes there is very little certainty. The things that he thought would be just or would make sense, instead not making sense. Life is often unfair. So as he goes along in this book, he's talking about the things that do make sense. The things that we can depend on. And they happen to be the little things, or the seemingly little things in life. You know, eating good food, enjoying good drink, the relationships that we form, our friendships with one another, and holding a bit more loosely what will happen to us, knowing that life is uncertain. I find that so helpful now. Don't give up the search for answers that are helpful for you. But also don't put so much faith in being certain about everything. You don't have to have your mind made up on everything to matter.